Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Lords of the Night. With me, as always, is the Lord of Pain, Ranting Monkey,
Hello, guys.
and the Lord of Pennies, Satsu 2 cents.
What up, Doubt?
And I'm your host, Scribe, the Lord of Punishment. Hello, chat. Hello, everyone. Hope you're having a good week thus far, and everyone is warm, unlike Monkey, wherever you are. So supposedly, the president is about to talk, and he's not all talking right now. I've got a window open on the off chance that it actually allows me to watch it on CNN. They don't like try to charge me something. So I'm gonna have it on. I'm gonna have the volume very low, so I can kind of pick up what they're saying without interrupting anything. But that aside, how are you guys? How are you, Satsu?
Pretty good.
Okay, thank you for that concise report, Satsu. Now to the weather, Monkey.
You're welcome.
Freezing. Fucking freezing, and I'm so weak right now.
You know, using bad language while talking about the weather is one of the stories we'll get to today.
Indeed.
Oh, shit.
Oh, you have a
Yep,
super
thank you
chat.
for your side of coin. Do I watch a loudmouth, blowhard, fumble over words, or do I watch Trump? Oh, hi, Scribe. You think you're funny.
In fairness, I won't be reading the news, so
Well,
No.
you don't fumble over the words. You might be a loudmouth blowhard, but you don't fumble over
Yes,
the words.
I
That's-
do. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. I'm man enough to admit that I don't
Don't
always
you
enunciate
dare.
correctly.
Don't you dare steal my thing.
Wait. You are telling me not to steal someone's thing.
Yeah,
Monkey.
Mr. Got It.
got it.
Yeah.
Just because you're weak right now, don't mean you get to jump in front of bullets for Scribe.
No,
Oh.
I'm not jumping.
Oh, the
Okay.
president's on. The president's on.
Oh,
Oh.
shit.
Oh.
Y'all ready for endless lies?
Now, I wish I could, pipe this in, but I can't. But he's talking about the southern border and security crisis at our southern border. Every day, Customs and Border Patrol agents encounter thousands of illegal immigrants trying to enter our country. We are out of space to hold them. Well, I mean, if you mean our established detention facilities and such, maybe that's the case. But we do have a gigantic country, so we're not short on space. Anyway, I was reading the transcription as it came across the screen. I won't do that all night, but on the off chance that something really exciting is said or happens, I'll let you know.
Let me know when somebody jumps up and says, "Objection!"
Yeah. Well, I'm waiting for somebody to jump in front of the camera and go World Star and then run away. But anyway, guys, Monkey Dick, Jim Jones, movies, video games. Hit that like button if you have not already, and many of you have not. Can we get to 100 likes before the bottom of the first hour?
We
hope
forgot
so.
something.
And share our stuff?
Scribe, how are you?
Oh, me. Well, I have to rant for a second. I know it's not usual for me to do this at the top of the show, but I won't go into specifics. But something happened at work today. And I'm just kind of peeved when there's a whole team of people at a company. And, my office is relatively laid back. But the thing is, everybody there knows what they have to get done every day, and we all get it done. Whatever else might be said of the interpersonal relationships or attitudes, etc., we can all rely on one another to know that each of us is doing everything we can to get each of our jobs done every day. And we're not there to fuck around, really, right? So it gets a little irritating when somebody who has been welcomed into this relatively close-knit team decides not to do their job. Decides not to do it at all. And then, because they don't do their job, we don't have any reason to keep them around. And because we brought them on to do a very specific thing, and they're not around anymore, that thing doesn't get done. And we all suffer as a result. It's really frustrating. Because we're not there just to jerk off or something. We get our stuff done. We all know what parts we have to play. We get them done every day. And there's a mutual respect amongst all that, even if we don't all get along on a personal level every single moment. But that happened today. And so it's very frustrating. Very frustrating. And so I I wasn't mad all day, but I was irritated most of the day. I just wanted to get that out there. If you take a paycheck for a job you're told to do and you say you're going to do it, and don't leave before it's done. That's all. If you get all your shit done, personally, I'm not a boss or anything. I don't run things, but honestly, if I was running a place and I had a very specific set of tasks somebody had to get done every day, and they got it done and they're completely clear and they had practically nothing else to do and nobody else needed any help or anything, I'd say, hey, leave early. As long as you get your shit done, I don't care. But no. Anyway, thank you, Michael Cruza. Hit that motherfucking like button, hose. Are you a political representative by any chance? Because motherfucker. Anyway, all that being said, do we have anything else to cover and or plug or mention before we get on to the schnuzz?
We're playing 7 Days to Die tonight when we normally have this off.
Oh, you are? And why is that?
So we'll be over on 2 Cents Plus after this playing 7 Days to Die.
Okay. All right then. Well, that being said, I could start with talking about the president's speech, but he's kind of giving it right now. So what I will do is I will do a little summary of it once we get to the top of the second hour, because by then it'll be done. It'll be a transcript out there and some kind of analysis. So we'll do a little bit of backwards news today. But that being said, there are other things that happened today. Well, thank you, tall person. Here, I respect your work ethic, Scribe. It perfectly lines up with my own. Well, I appreciate that, and I'm glad that there are other people out there that have that notion. And thank you, Michael Cruz, again. You better believe it. And now, the weather. Where Monkey is, it's cold. And tomorrow night will be the Fund Monkeys Heat Lamp and Hot Rock.
Oh, my God.
Because Monkey is a lizard. What you don't know about Monkey is that while he is a monkey, he's actually a monkey lizard, like the little thing that sits next to Jabba the Hutt. And being a monkey lizard, he's both a mammal, but also cold-blooded, and so he needs as much heat as possible to survive. So, in that spirit, tomorrow we'll be trying to get him a heat lamp and a hot rock that he can sit on and bask in when he needs to.
Man, he's got heat lamp and hot rocks.
I told you guys, I have a space heater in this room. This room is 77 fucking degrees. I have no reason to be cold.
Well,
stop being a corpse, dude.
I have a reason to have a cold one.
There you go.
Oh, Dr. Pepper.
I'm going to get a hot rock for each of my cheeks to sit on.
The refreshing taste of a prune to drink on the moon. I'm still waiting for that sponsorship from those guys.
It's not happening.
I would shill this stuff every night, more so than I already do. If they would just, I don't know, throw me some money, I'd do it. Anyway, in other political news, Democrats block Middle East bill in the Senate over shutdown. Senate Democrats blocked action on a bill unrelated to the ongoing government shutdown Tuesday in protest of President Donald Trump's demands to fund a controversial border wall with Mexico in exchange for reopening the agencies. So the Democrats blocked something that had nothing to do with it in protest.
Yes.
Good for them.
That sounds right up their alley, actually.
Yeah, that sounds really productive. Thanks, guys. So, rather than sort of act in defiance of the notion of a government shutdown, we're just not going to act at all in doing the business of the government because of the government shutdown.
That's right.
We could. The move escalated an already tense situation between the parties as Democrats weighed whether to extend their objections to all legislation until the impasse is broken, something that could cripple the chamber and add to the dysfunction in the nation's capital. Could add to dysfunction? Could? I don't know, CNN. I think you're being off.
They're going to refuse to do their jobs?
That's what it says, yeah. They're weighing whether to extend their objections to all legislation until the impasse is broken. They're going on strike, basically. They're debating about whether to go on strike. After they just got sworn in.
Yeah.
The vote, the first roll call of the new session, came on a package of bipartisan bills related to U.S. support for Israel and Jordan and new sanctions against the Syrian regime. Needing 60 votes to break a filibuster, the motion was defeated 56-44. Yeah, remember, guys, it's not about a majority anymore. It's about a supermajority. 56 votes to 44, that should have passed. But that's the old days.
It depends on what what kind of bill it is.
Yeah, thank you, Grizzly. What do you call Trump being president? He likes to eat money like French fries. What do you call Trump being a president? He likes to eat money like French fries. I'm not sure I get that one. How about you guys?
Nope. It went right over my head and hit the wall behind me.
Yeah. I don't know, Grizz. I might need a translation. What else? 3 Democrats from red states voted with Republicans: Joe Manchin of West Virginia, Doug Jones of Alabama, and Kristen Sinema of Arizona. Democratic Senator Bob Menendez of New Jersey also broke with his party to vote with Republicans. The vote occurred a few hours before Trump was set to give a nationally televised address from the Oval Office when he will advocate for the wall. He will also attend a Senate Republican lunch on Wednesday to put pressure on Democrats. Wait, what? He will attend a Senate Republican lunch on Wednesday to put pressure on Democrats to cut a deal and shore up wavering Republicans who are worried the president doesn't have a successful strategy to end the shutdown. Okay, I'm confused. Senator Patty Murray of Washington, the third-ranking Democrat in leadership, said she expects her party's protest to extend to other legislation as Democrats try to pressure Trump to end the shutdown now in its 18th day, which he won't do. He's not going to end it, especially if you guys go on strike and not going to do your jobs. He'll blame that on you. He'll blame the gridlock on the Democrats, and he won't be completely wrong because you're not withheld from doing your jobs during the shutdown. You're going on strike.
Yeah, you're literally making a conscious decision.
Yeah,
to continue this or escalate it at this point.
Well, I mean, they're artificially expanding the government shutdown in doing so, and that's on them. That's not on Trump. That's on them.
Raman said that was a short address from the president. Yeah, it was only supposed to be like 8 minutes long. Is he done?
Oh, I stopped watching it. I guess maybe it is because it's live updates. Okay, I thought it was gonna be longer than that.
Oh, Snub just said Trump's speech is over.
Oh,
and that's a super chat. So.
Thank you, Snubruth. Well, then I can read the summary, I suppose. Trump claimed all Americans are hurt by uncontrolled illegal immigration. Experts aren't so sure. The experts weighed in the last 5 minutes. Okay. President Trump said, quote, all Americans are hurt by uncontrolled illegal immigration. And that's the end of the quote. Then we go on to the author. It's very difficult to know exactly how much or little undocumented immigrants cost the United States. Is it? I've seen statistics forever about how much they either pay in taxes or how much they end up taking in medical care. Many experts contest the notion that undocumented immigrants are a strain on the economy. A 2017 analysis noted that undocumented immigrants, quote, make considerable tax contributions, for example. How is that offset by all the other stuff? Similarly, a 2018 study by the Libertarian Cato Institute, which reviewed criminal conviction data from the Texas Department of Public Safety, found that immigrants, legal or illegally, are less likely than native-born Americans to be convicted of a crime. If they're here illegally, they've committed a crime. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know why that always seems to float away from people's consciousness. If you're arrested and you're here illegally, even if you're not convicted of what you were arrested for, you've committed a crime.
Mm-hmm. Can you just imagine somebody in your house when you get home and you're like, hey, what the fuck, dude? Get off of my couch. And he's like, oh, whoa, calm down, dude. I haven't committed a crime. I haven't been convicted. Calm down. I'm just relaxing on your couch. It's fine. Yes, I don't belong here, but I haven't committed a crime yet. I'm not a criminal.
Let's see. They've updated the info. President Trump on Tuesday put the onus of the 18-day partial government shutdown on Democrats, saying the matter could be easily resolved if his political opponents cede to his demands on border funding. Quote, the government remains shut down for one reason and one reason only. The Democrats will not fund border security. Didn't you say you weren't going to blame them, but you're proud to shut it down?
He said he wasn't going to blame Chuck Schumer.
Well, Chuck Schumer's a Democrat.
True. And he did say that he was proud to shut it down if that's what it took to get border security.
Yeah.
So he's still sticking with what he said there.
Kinda.
But
Okay.
I mean, as the president, he doesn't have to sign it. They could always try to override him in Congress.
Yeah. Democrats have expressed support for border security steps like enhanced technology, but have refused to provide support for a border barrier. Trump said he would resume talks with Democrats on Wednesday. Quote, "This situation could be resolved in a 45-minute meeting," he said. "I have invited congressional leadership to the White House tomorrow to get this done." I'm not holding my breath.
Well, Chucky and Nancy are supposed to be talking here soon.
Yeah, I think they're doing it right now-ish. Let's see. Well, if they are, I can't, relay it word for word. Yeah, they're talking right now. So once that's done, I'll provide some kind of summary of that. It shouldn't be too long. If the Democrats talk longer than the president did on the whole subject, well, there's two of them, so maybe they get 8 minutes each. Anyway, so yeah, Democrats are threatening to basically shut down Congress, or at least one part of it, if they don't get their way. Okay. Anyway, speaking of weather and saying bad words during the weather, a New York meteorologist was fired after using a racial slur on the air.
Nice. What'd they say?
This is amazing. A television station in Rochester, sound like Jack Benny, Rochester, New York, fired a meteorologist Sunday after he used a racial slur on air. During WHEC TV's Friday evening broadcast, Jeremy Capel said, quote, "Martin Luther Coon Park," unquote, when referring to a downtown Rochester park named after slain civil rights movement leader Martin Luther King Jr.
Wow.
I know. I was like, yep, that'll get you fired. In a video viewed by CNN, Capel says King immediately after using the slur and continues with the broadcast. Capel said his use of the slur was a mistake caused by speaking too quickly. I think that's what they call a Freudian slip, actually. Quote, "What happened on Friday to me is a simple misunderstanding. If you watch me regularly, you know that I tend to contain a lot of information in my weathercast, which forces me to speak fast. And unfortunately, I spoke a little too fast when I was referencing Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., so fast to the point where I jumbled a couple of words. In my mind, I knew I mispronounced, but there was no malice. I had no idea the way it came across to many people." I don't know.
That's only semi-believable. We've done it numerous times on this show before.
Sure.
Like mixed up words, but it's possible, but yeah, I don't know.
That's a very specific word to have fucked up on.
Well, what was
specific?
Did they have the full quote that it was supposed to be? Like, was there another word in that sentence that had 2 O's in it?
I don't know. It doesn't say here.
Because that would be useful information to have.
Look, I would be willing to believe him if I hadn't heard Martin Luther King referred to that way before.
Yeah. That's
that specific slur put in for his last name, Martin Luther Coon instead of Martin Luther King. Yeah, we've all accidentally said the wrong word, and that makes things sound really fucked up, sure. But I'm having trouble believing you. Where's it from? Rochester, New York?
Rochester, yeah.
Wow.
I think the first time I ever heard that formation of his name was probably Mississippi Burning.
Probably.
Yeah, because I mean that movie's old now, but when I saw it when I was young, it's kind of weird. When I was young and saw that movie, it felt like racism was like that kind of racism was ancient history, even though, at the time it was only 30, 40 years back, something like that. And that kind of stuff happened.
Okay.
What?
Because somebody in the chat said Martin Luther King Jr. And I'm like, maybe, because it came right after.
Prospero says, "I've never ever heard that ranting monkey." As Scribe just pointed out, I mean, it was in a movie.
Yeah, I think
didn't make it up.
the first time I ever heard that it put that way was in Mississippi Burning. I am taxed with trying to think of any other situation where I've heard someone use that before.
Did he know he was live? Like he knew he was live.
Oh yeah, no, he was doing his weather. He was doing his whole. Yeah, this wasn't some kind of like.
I don't
camera.
think he meant to say it. I'm saying I think he's probably used that term once or twice.
Yeah.
In real life, and it just kind of slipped through.
A little bit.
Yeah, I feel like it was an accident. Because I just it's very difficult for me to believe that he was just like, you know what, I don't want to be employed anymore today.
Yeah, that's also true. Let's see. Do we have anything else? Because there's a lot of stuff that happened today elsewise that I'm pretty sure, actually, I almost know for certain is in the.
You got a super chat there.
Yeah, gotcha. Thank you, Snubber. Scribe. Homer did nothing wrong except be a Negro. What? I don't get it. Everything's going over my head tonight, guys. I don't know what's going on.
Nothing is landing tonight. I don't get it.
I also want to point this out. I just did a search. Martin Luther Kuhn has been on the Urban Dictionary since 2007. It's been out there for a long time.
How old is the Urban Dictionary?
No idea, but this was posted January 17th of 2007.
Yeah, well, I'm almost 100% sure I heard it used in Mississippi Burning, probably by what's his name? The guy who plays Chucky in the Chucky movies. I always remember the characters versus the Brad Dourif. I think it was Brad Dourif. Might have been. Either way. Otherwise, let's see. Any other news to jump on at present? Nothing that's really headlining everything. What happened to... Oh, that's what I took off. I must have closed that window. I'm sorry. The other news story that I was going to bring up in the entertainment industry, let's say. R. Kelly. Have you heard about R. Kelly lately?
Yeah.
So, Surviving R. Kelly, the 6-part Lifetime docuseries featuring accounts from R. Kelly's accusers and close friends, shines a much-needed light on the ways in which our society fails Black girls and women. Over the course of the series, survivors share how they were left vulnerable to the most heinous kinds of physical, psychological, and sexual abuse, and then saw their decades' worth of cries for justice fall on deaf ears. Kelly's lawyer has reportedly said the documentary contains false allegations, though he has not yet specified which ones are alleged to be untrue. Kelly himself has also denied any wrongdoing. However, since the series aired, CNN has confirmed through the family of Jocelyn Savage, one of the women featured in the docuseries, that Kelly could be facing an investigation by the district attorney's office in Fulton County, Georgia. The DA declined to comment. So, how did Kelly get away with it? Through his music, which was more than just a shield for him, it was his source of power. Indeed, one common thread tying many of the victims' narratives together is that they aspired to careers in the music industry, and the series reveals how, over and over again, survivors and their families say Kelly recognized their ambition and capitalized on it, controlling and abusing them as he dangled their dreams just out of reach.
So R. Kelly's the Black Harvey Weinstein.
Or you know, Bill Cosby.
Black Bill Cosby.
Yeah, Bill Cosby or Jimmy Savile in Britain and such. Thank you, Point Curation. My mind's telling me no, but my body's telling me piss. Oh, sorry. Anyway,
Scribe.
I know. Sorry, I don't know what just came out. I didn't mean to say it.
That's what he said. God damn it.
I was trying to say the word yes, but somehow piss came out. Wait, that doesn't sound right either.
Oh boy,
I know, right?
It's getting worse.
Let's see. So yeah, that happened too. But otherwise, yeah. Sorry guys, I'm just distracted by all the Trump stuff coming through here. I got like tons and tons of tweets about Trump and what the Democrats are saying and all this, that, and the other thing. So I'm going to wait a little while till more analysis comes through to talk about what the aftermath of the president's speech was. Also, Weibo Jones has just tweeted out a bunch of binary code. I'm sure it means something, but I don't read Droid. So anyway, you guys have any news stories or anything else?
No.
All right then. Well, guys, we're going to move on a little early to MSS News. If you have news stories you'd like us to try to read on the air, pronouncing all the words correctly, please send them to us via Twitter using the hashtag MSSNews. Can't promise we'll get to them all, but that's just because you guys send us so many that we are have an embarrassment of riches. Like that phrase. Let's see. Why don't we start with Froggy? I saw this earlier today. It's kind of funny. Oklahoma woman brags about poaching on Bumble dating app. Her match was a game warden.
Good job, dummy.
A woman who swiped right on Bumble wound up getting stung when the match she bragged to about poaching a big O buck turned out to be a game warden. According to the Oklahoma Department of Wildlife Conservation, McIntosh County Game Warden Cannon Harrison. Cannon? All right. Cannon Harrison was using the dating app in December when he was notified he matched a woman in his area. After exchanging greetings, the woman, whom authorities declined to identify, revealed she had just shot a big O buck and was pretty happy about it, according to copies of the messages. Hell yeah, Harrison replied. Get him with a bow? We don't need to talk about that, the woman replied. When Harrison jokingly asked if she bagged the deer with a spotlight, she replied, yeah. The woman admitted to illegally harvesting a deer at night and outside rifle season and revealed where she shot it and shared a photo of herself posing with the dead animal. Quote, it was definitely a shock, Harrison told Tulsa World. First you think, this isn't real. You think, maybe she knows who I am and is teasing me. But we did some digging on who she was and where she lived. Turns out the woman ended up meeting her match, albeit not in the manner in which she likely intended. Harrison and his colleagues discovered she not only illegally shot the deer, but also harvested only the head and backstrap meat, which is also illegal in Oklahoma. The woman and an unidentified accomplice were ultimately fined $2,400 for improper possession of an illegally taken animal and taking game out of season. Well, be careful who you talk to on social media. Okay, is Weibo gone full like robot?
No idea.
Well, she's typing a whole bunch of like binary stuff. I don't speak Bocce. Weibo.
I was already convinced she was a robot, so I don't know about
yeah. Robo Jones. All right, moving on. Judge Death sends us this one, and I know for a fact that senior staff reporter and chief Florida correspondent Colleen Bernier also sent this one because she made sure to tell me when I sent it out that she'd already done so. So credit where credit is due. Man caught on camera licking doorbell for 3 hours at California home.
That must have been a delicious fucking doorbell.
What was he high on, I wonder? Police are trying to find a man who was caught on camera licking a doorbell for 3 hours at a Central California home. Quote, I thought I'd seen it all, but this takes the cake, Francisco Javier Estrada told KION. The Salinas Police Department identified the man as 33-year-old Roberto Daniel Arroyo. The Dugan family said they were not home at the time, but their children were inside the house sleeping. Police said a surveillance system helped them investigate the case. The cameras also caught Arroyo moving an extension cord to the front yard and relieving himself. Okay. Wait, what does the extension cord have to do with taking a leak? He need to plug himself in or something?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. Okay. I assume he was high on like acid or something. Thank you, Three-Sided Coin. He thought it was a ding dong. Oh. Oh.
Clever girl.
Let's see. This one comes from Massive Dynamics. Uh-oh, it's a Splinter article. A Splinter article that references Gamergate. Oh my God, this is so Inception. Trump says, actually, it's about ethics and political journalism. The president woke up today mad at the press in a tweet that sounded awfully reminiscent of Gamergate. Exhibit A, quote, the fake news media in our country is the real opposition party. It is truly the enemy of the people. We must bring honesty back to journalism and reporting. Fantastic. Honesty back to journalism and reporting sounds a hell of a lot like We're about ethics and journalism. The oft-repeated argument that Gamergate was not, in fact, about violent misogyny and instead just about trying to get journalists to do their jobs honestly.
Okay.
Well, it was. Hate to tell you. I mean, the media turned it into something else over time, and sure, but anyway.
Yeah, well, you want to know who pushed that narrative that it was about sexism and misogyny?
Yeah.
We're not liars.
Anyway. Moving on from that. That is not a article. That is an ad. Okay, this one comes from Frosted Glass. Oh, of course. See, I saw the preview for this the other day, and I thought to myself, someone's going to complain. Someone's going to complain. Bryan Cranston advocated for disabled actors while taking a role from one.
Yep, knew this was coming.
In The Upside, his upcoming film with Kevin Hart, that guy's a homophobe. His upcoming film with Kevin Hart, Cranston plays a man with quadriplegia, and the politics are complicated. Are they? Are they really? Are they that complicated? You know, we wouldn't have had Al Pacino in Scarface if we had the same kind of mentality. Because, you know, Al Pacino's not Cuban. He can't play a Cuban.
So how many active quadriplegic actors are there right now? Do they just have a pool of quadriplegic actors there who they were just like, we could pick any of these people, but fuck them. We're going to pick this not one.
I have no idea, but when it says while taking a role from one, I want to know who that one was.
Yeah, you notice they won't mention them.
In a series of interviews promoting The Upside, starred Bryan Cranston spoke out about the lack of acting opportunities for disabled actors, despite being an able-bodied actor who just took one of those roles. From whom? In The Upside, Cranston plays Philip Lacasse, a wealthy man with quadriplegia who becomes friends with an ex-con serving as his caretaker. The movie is a remake of the acclaimed French hit The Intouchables, and in both the original and this American version, Lacasse is played by an able-bodied actor. Oh, no. In lieu of having personal experience with the disability, if he had personal experience with the disability, he'd be a quadriplegic.
And he wouldn't be acting. It'd just be him.
Now,
it'd be a documentary.
you can be an actor and be a quadriplegic effectively, because Christopher Reeve did do some acting stuff, limited scope, after his horse accident. But all the same, it's not exactly a big market. Cranston told Yahoo News he spent time with a number of people with quadriplegia, quote, to get to know what they were thinking and how they've adjusted in their lives and the level of happiness they could attain. Over the interview, Cranston attempted to defend himself, not that he should have had to, by claiming there are no disabled actors with the level of fame that would draw viewers. Quote, the real business dynamic of hiring an able-bodied actor is the choice of the studios to try and see if they can make an investment into a film that could bring a return, Cranston said. Are there any actors who have reached any kind of star status to be able to be considered? I think by not coming up with an answer to that is the answer to that. There is a dearth of opportunity for actors with a disability. Now remember, guys, some people think otherwise, but the word dearth means lack. You know, some people mix it like dearth as being something that describes a lot of something, like a deluge or something. It's actually the opposite, just so you know. But Cranston does not address the way he perpetuates the same cycle he is critiquing and benefiting from. Though he claimed to lend a celebrity status to the story in the hopes that it would reach broader audiences, his decision to play Lacasse has also prevented a lesser-known disabled actor from getting the opportunity to play the role and gain celebrity. Which actor?
Which actor?
Who? It's no wonder, then, that disabled actors in Hollywood have a hard time landing enough roles to amass the name recognition of a franchise leader like Cranston. Okay. The number of roles available to people who cannot move their bodies are exceedingly limited, which means that if there is a market for those movies, it's very small, which means you're not going to be able to do much in the way of work, which means you're not going to reach Bryan Cranston's level of fame. It's just reality. I hate to tell you this.
They don't care about that because they seem to think that you can just make a movie with a nobody, and it's just going to be good. They don't have to be an actor. They don't have to know how to act. They don't have to know how to draw a crowd or carry a narrative. They just, as long as they fit the bill, Put him in there and see what happens, because making money is not the goal for making movies, apparently.
If anybody wants to see a documentary that actually explains a lot about the importance and the functions and mechanisms of financing and actors assigned or contracted to a movie and everything, it's called Lost in La Mancha. It talks about Terry Gilliam's attempt to make a Don Quixote movie with Johnny Depp. I won't say too much. I don't want to give too much away. It is an amazing movie, but it's also exceedingly informative about all the intricacies of how a movie gets financed, how actors become essential elements to that financing, and if an actor disappears out of the contract, the whole thing falls apart. Really cool. Thank you, Chicago Mike. The actors from The Living Dead took those roles from actual zombies? Yes.
So
they're living challenged people, Mike, that do not have work because of those actors. Thank you, Weibo Jones. 73, 63, 72, 69, 62, 65, 20, 6C, 6F, 76, 65, 20, 6D, 65, 20.
So have they realized that they haven't even realized the full potential of their stupidity yet? Because think about how far they could take this. There's people who played in movies who have cancer that didn't have cancer. There's people who played in movies who played as somebody who had bad sinuses or whatever, who doesn't actually have bad sinuses in real life. There's people who played in shit who that broke their leg, who has never had a broken leg before. Like, they could take this shit to an infinite degree.
Oh yeah. No, I was watching 30 Days of Night the other day, and I
remember that movie.
I was watching with the commentary on. This is one point in the movie where Josh Hartnett has to react like his entire body is clenching up, right? And he talked on the commentary how, yeah, I was trying to figure out what it would be like to inject yourself with something nasty. And so he talked to a friend of a friend who had been a heroin addict at one point. And the guy told him there was a time at which I accidentally, and Scribe is still curious as to how this happened, accidentally injected bleach into his body. And he said that it felt like every muscle in his body tensed up and was on fire. And so just having that description given to him, Josh Hartnett then mimicked what that might be like to sort of emote the effect of him injecting himself with vampire blood in the movie. But, he didn't actually inject himself with bleach, so he shouldn't have been able to do that, right? He was taking that experience away from somebody else. Frosted Glass, thank you. Weibo's super chat translates to Martin Luther. Oh, God. Seriously? Okay. Prospero, thank you. This just in. Tom Hanks does not have AIDS. No shit. Yeah, Philadelphia. Imagine if that movie came out today.
Yeah, I'm about to go look up every LGBT or anything, any person that is a vulnerable person by their definition. Look up a role that they played in a movie, and I'm going to investigate on if they're actually that thing. And I'm going to make an extensive list. Like, look at all these people playing things that they aren't.
So apparently Weibo's super chat translated to Scribe love me. Oh, Weibo, I love you. Was that creepy or was that endearing?
You were walking the line, dude.
You don't know this, but she's been begging for dick in your chat.
Well, I can't help you because apparently Nightwing is now Gick Dayson or whatever the fuck they've named him, or Rick Grayson. So I don't know how it got DC. Somehow a DC tweet got into my feed, even though I don't follow DC, and it showed a comic book cover of the next issue of Nightwing or something. And so I clicked on it and I looked at it and I thought, wait a sec, that's Nightwing. He looks like a badly drawn Frank Castle with big splotch wings on his face that are like painted on in like, I don't know, charcoal or something.
You appear to be displeased.
Yeah, I was not a fan. Not a fan. But of course, I'm not a huge DC fan to begin with, but I just thought that doesn't seem to do the character justice, whatever's going on there. Let's see. What else do we have? We have one from The Rambler. Uh-oh. Monkey, it's your favorite, or one of your favorites. Ocasio-Cortez, and I can't read it because I have an ad blocker on, and this asshole won't let me read the thing. Will you let me read it now? Okay, thank you, DC Chronicle. Am I allowed to read this? You're going to pop up an ad in front of me. Oh, the ad is for Happy Wheels. Seriously. The game that made PewDiePie a household name, practically. Okay. Ocasio-Cortez has meltdown on social media. Does she? Ocasio-Cortez has had a good and bad last 48 hours on social media. All right. Some good vibes coming from her dancing video, which showed a more human, cute, and sexy side of the controversial congresswoman. I didn't find it that sexy. Looked goofy.
A lot of people did, which was kind of weird to me.
I'd be curious to know how it was sexy, but yeah. However, the bad side of her followers showed as she got into a controversial pissing contest with Congressman Minority Whip Steve Scalise on Sunday. Have we already talked about this? Because when is this story coming out? The story was out in the
This is actually today.
Oh, okay.
Well, the end part of this is from today.
Oh, okay. Her followers attacked Scalise and mocked him being shot. Oh, that's a good look. One follower said, "Snipe his ass," and another said, "She's got better aim than James Hodgkinson. That's for sure." Hodgkinson, of course, critically wounded and shot Scalise and other staffers who were practicing for GOP versus DNC charity baseball game. Scalise stated that he would be more than happy to continue the debate with her from the People's House, but refused to do it any longer on social media due to her radical followers. If that wasn't enough of a week, Ocasio-Cortez went on 60 Minutes last night with Anderson Cooper. Yeah, we talked about this. Okay. Well, yeah, good job, followers. I'm sure that if Trump supporters had said that of Hillary at the time, you would have totally thought it was cool or something. Anyway, this one comes from senior staff reporter Jack, the motherfucking cockring.
Oh, you missed the end of that, though. She went on to get into arguments over getting the 4 Pinocchios from the Washington Post and throw a big bitch fit about it. And the Washington Post had to point out to her, we Trump doesn't like it when we do it to him either. To which she responded, "Yes, but there needs to be fairness in it."
Oh, Jesus.
To which the Washington Post came back and said, "Look, we've fact-checked Trump 7,642 times. We've done it to you twice."
Wow.
To which he was like, "Oh, well, fact-checking is important. It helps me to be better. It helps if everybody playing knows the rules."
Oh, my God.
The rules are just get your facts right, dumbass.
Stop saying dumb shit. Those are the rules, you silly bitch.
Oh, she's so stupid.
She is so stupid. You're so stupid.
Okay, Weaver. Do you want the red snapper? Or what's in the box? The box. The box.
Okay, what's in the box?
Okay, boys. What's in the box? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. You're so stupid.
Little
the
UHF
shit
for you.
The shit is in the box.
Oh, yes. You get the shit. All right. This one comes from The Root.
The Woot.
With an exclusive.
Oh, shit. I like that word.
This is an exclusive filed under gentrification. New report shows gentrifiers use police to terrorize communities of color without even calling 911. Okay, it was a story so ridiculous it seemed destined to go viral. A new Harlem resident, a white woman going only by the name Mackenzie, launched a veritable war against a neighborhood ice cream truck, complaining loudly and persistently about the noise and attempting several times to call 311, New York City's hotline for quality of life complaints. Not only did police never respond to Mackenzie's calls, she was roundly mocked by her neighbors and the internet at large. But recent data shows the Mackenzies of New York aren't isolated or altogether innocent incidents. What? I'm confused. A new study released by anti-poverty advocacy group the Community Service Society, New Neighbors and the Over-Policing of Communities of Color, gives a clearer idea of the broader impact New York City's white gentrifiers have on the communities of color they move into. Not only do these white residents make the communities less recognizable for long-term residents, they bring with them increased police presence and make their black and brown neighbors feel less safe. Wait. Wait. Wasn't the old like stereotype racist stuff about the black family moving in next door in the suburbs?
Yep.
And so now this is just the reverse, but I must have missed something. The lady calling 311 was white, but the cops didn't show up.
Yep.
Yeah, and they mocked her in the streets for trying to do it. But yeah,
this goes on for a long time, guys. We're talking about like 5 or 6 pages. So I'm going to put this out in the chat because there might be 1 or 2 people out there who might want to do, I don't know, some kind of video or something on it, because that's an amazing beginning to a story, I think, maybe. Anyway, thank you, Weebo Jones. I don't know. I don't read Morse code. But hell, I'm sure there's a translator out there just to make sure that I'm not told I didn't actually read the super chat. Morse code translator. There we go. Translate. Hi, Scribe CM. CM. I don't know.
Choke me.
Oh, okay. All right. So you want me to love you and choke you? Strangely enough, I have experience with both. Well, not you specifically.
Like right now. Jesus, girl, calm down.
I sound like squishy when I talk like that.
No, I said she sounds like squishy with that message.
Wait. Squishy comes up to you and says, "Choke me."
She doesn't come up to me and say it.
She yelled from across the apartment, "Satsu, choke me!" All right. Well, moving on. This one comes from Tall Person. Psychologists say traditional masculinity is harmful.
Is that right?
Traditional. New guidelines from the American Psychological Association have declared masculinity harmful. A post on the APA website reads, quote, prior to the second wave feminist movement in the 1960s, all psychology was the psychology of men. Most major studies were done only on white men and boys who stood in as proxies for humans as a whole. Researchers assumed that masculinity and femininity were opposite ends of a spectrum, and healthy psychology entailed identifying strongly with the gender roles conferred by a person's biological sex, unquote. The author then says, well, yeah, masculinity and femininity are opposite ends of the spectrum, and it is healthy to identify with your biological sex. Not according to the mental health experts at the APA, however. It continues, quote, in 2007, researchers led by James Malik, PhD of Boston College, found that the more men conform to masculine norms, the more likely they were to consider as normal risky health behaviors such as heavy drinking, using tobacco, and avoiding vegetables, and to engage in these risky behaviors themselves.
Wait. Those risky behaviors of avoiding vegetables?
Yeah. Remember, guys, if you don't eat vegetables, it's risky.
You're gonna die.
Yeah, the author then says, I confess I was a little excited to see avoiding vegetable listed as a risky behavior. I had been feeling a bit lame and old recently because I didn't do anything risky at all. But just when I was thinking about buying a motorcycle or joining an underground bare-knuckle boxing league, I discovered that I'm already taking my life into my hands every time I skip the salad bar at Ruby Tuesday.
Wow.
Funny. Thank you, P-Dog Knight. Lawyer Dog. So one study says, a new study. I always love it when it's a new study because it always ends up being something that's targeted from a think tank that has a very specific agenda. Almost consistently, it's something like that.
Are you guys on Twitter right now? I
can be, but why?
The pictures of Pelosi and Schumer.
Oh, no.
Schumer just looks so creepy behind her.
Is he looming?
Kind of, and he's got his neck down just a little bit.
Oh, is he staring at the camera with his eyes up a little bit?
He's got one eye open and the other one's kind of shut a little bit.
Yeah.
But somebody tagged it. Your parents, when you tell them you dropped out of med school to become a SoundCloud rapper.
Let's see. We'll do one more here. This one comes from New Fate 26. Homeless man accused in GoFundMe scam sought by police. Surprise, surprise. Authorities in New Jersey on Tuesday issued a warrant for the arrest of a Philadelphia man after he missed a court appearance connected to his alleged part in a GoFundMe scam that raked in more than $400,000. Johnny Bobbitt Jr., 35, was to appear in Superior Court in Burlington County, New Jersey, on a hearing called because he had not reported to pretrial services as required. Bobbitt, who was homeless at the time of the scam in 2017, was supposed to update the court on his efforts to seek employment and a new home. The prosecutor's office told NBC News it requested a warrant for his arrest. Quote, "We hope that he recognizes that this matter is not going to go away," said Joel Bewley, a spokesman for the Burlington County Prosecutor's Office. "We encourage him to come in and address these charges."
Yeah, I'm sure you'll find him.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's going to run in and just hand himself over.
Well, I would, just to get it over with, but whatever.
Well, if I was homeless, I'd probably rather live in jail than on the street, but we'll see.
Yeah. Okay. Everybody's like going all old school spy now on our chat by sending messages in Morse code. I don't even know what they're saying anymore. I wonder if you could get away with like saying things that Google would otherwise ban. Ha 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 ha. That was a good point, curation. Har, har, har. All right. Anyway, well, that's it for MSS News for now, guys. Thank you so much for all the stories. On to YouTube time. Satsu, what have you been up to?
I done did a video today about the new Resident Evil demo that's coming out tomorrow. Well, on the 11th.
Are you a refugee from Bloodwing's stream?
Maybe.
Okay. Oh, yuck.
And I made a list of 5 things that I want to see from the new Resident Evil game when the demo comes out on the 11th and the full game comes out, I believe, on the 29th. I'm really pumped for this game because it's gonna be crazy and it's gonna be scary.
Are you gonna stream all that stuff as you?
Oh, for sure.
Oh, show.
Oh, show. I'm streaming it so the world can see me scream like a bitch as I get eaten by zombies. So that should be entertaining. So that'll be coming out soon. So be on the lookout for that. Me and Monkey are streaming tonight. Tonight is usually our night off or whatever, but we had so much fun in the last stream that I didn't want to wait until Friday to play again. So come and hang out with us over on 2 Cents Plus. It'll be a good time.
Is that merchant going to show up in that game where he goes like, "What you buying? What you selling?
What are you bought?" No, he didn't meet him until much later.
Oh, okay. My a long time ago ex-girlfriend, she used to play that game, and I always remember that. I always thought that guy was hilarious. It's like, "What you buying? What you selling?"
Well, this game is the origin story of the main character of that game.
Oh,
yeah. It's a remake of the original Resident Evil 2, where he initially came from.
You know, I'm looking at this picture of Chuck Schumer, and it would be a really easy thing to take that face of his he's making and superimpose it over Emperor Palpatine's.
Do you see the screen I have up right now?
No, but I can.
I'm sharing screen.
There you go.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
Somebody did a face swap. Doesn't the Pelosi figure there look like Robert Englund?
I think it looks like Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
I guess that too.
Oh my gosh. Thank you, Snubbirth. Morse code, Morse code, Morse code, Morse code, Morse code. Ain't that right, Monkey?
Indeed.
You'll have to translate that on your own, guys. Monkey, what have you been up to?
Let's see. I did my Monkey in the Morning stream.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was on Bloodwing stream, and now I'm here.
Here you are, freezing in a hot room,
Indeed.
do. Yeah, I listened to a little bit of your morning show as I was at work this morning. You need to sleep better, dude.
I do, but if you can tell me how, I'd be happy to learn.
That's practice. You got to have a sleep schedule and stay sleepy. Got to pick a time and always get in bed at that time, even if you're not tired, and eventually your body will, acclimate.
That ain't happening.
Oh, snap.
What?
Jim Acosta asked Kellyanne Conway, will you promise that President Trump will tell the truth tonight? And she said, yes, Jim. Do you promise that you will?
Oh!
Thank you for sharing that massive dynamic. Holy fuck. Holy shit.
Well, the new rules have been set for the interaction between the politicians and the press, so there you go. I guess it's nothing really new. Let's see. As far as me, well, I didn't get much of anything done today because work was, as I mentioned earlier, a little irritating and stressful, but it was also very busy. So when I got home, I wasn't sort of in a mind frame to do other things. But I tell you what, TEDx is the gift that keeps on giving, because I've got a couple of videos to debate over doing something on right now. And thankfully, unlike many other TEDx deals, this set they recently released seemed to all be limited to about 10 minutes each rather than 15 to 20, which is kind of nice. And I know that seems like a lot to some people, but for me, I have a very high tolerance for watching very long fucking videos. Anyway, so what are they? Well, if my watched later thing will come up here. Yes, thank you. So I've got one that's, and they're both from London. This was a TEDx series done in London. The first one is, boys won't be boys. Boys will be what we teach them to be. Can you imagine what that's about?
If only we can teach women to make better choices.
And the second one, I've watched a little bit of this one. It's the one I'll probably work on. Why we need to design feminist AI. And you know what her opening examples of the problem is? Can you guess?
Sex dolls.
No, you're close, but not quite.
Siri.
You're just about there. Yeah, she was talking about how Alexa is being harassed.
Yeah.
What happens when you call Alexa a slut? Well, she just says, thank you, or we should talk about something else. That's bad.
Huh.
And I was like, sexual harassment. I was like, it doesn't have a sexuality. It's a machine. It's not real. It's an inanimate object. If you named it Robert and gave it a male voice, would it then be misogynistic to call it a slut? Sorry, not misogynistic. And misandrist. Misandrist. Get my words mixed up. Oh, just like that Weatherman. Anyway, yeah. So I might do something on that just because the opening is so ridiculous, and I like ridiculous as an opening because I can make fun of that. Of course, there's still the lady that comes out and asks, have you ever been the only white person in a room? Yes, because I'm lonely. I want to do that too.
I couldn't do it. I commend you for being it, because there's certain things now. I've gotten to the point in handling these situations where things just make me mad now.
Mm-hmm.
Because there used to be this motivation, I must talk about this, but now I just get angry, unreasonably angry, and it just ruins my day. So I'm just I can't sit and listen to that shit.
I don't get angry anymore. I know that my the tolerance I have for, or maybe I'm just become calloused because it takes something unique or an angle taken on a particular topic that I haven't heard before to really catch my attention. I just noticed, and I've talked about this before, I'll go through 20 videos now before I find something that really catches my attention. Whereas when I was first doing this, it was just, a gold mine everywhere I looked. There's something everywhere. There was something interesting. something I hadn't thought of before, or some argument that just made my brain have a syntax error. But now it really takes something out of the ordinary, or at least something that I haven't talked about in a while that's different to really catch my attention. So somebody talking about feminist AI. I can't remember ever doing a video on feminist AI per se. Well, the very first video I did was about how robots were going to take everyone's jobs and stuff. And so something like that. But actually, the thing I'm more amazed about is that I still go back to TEDx talks because they are so long most of the time. And there's such a mental slog to get through. TEDx talks, TED Talks, Google, or talks at Google, some of these other things that I go to. I kind of miss Fusion and Splinter putting out videos as regularly as they used to, because those were little bite-sized little pieces of nonsense that I could kind of digest. They don't really do that anymore, though. It's kind of disappointing. I miss when Snarled.com did their Race in America shorts. Those are always funny. They'd have the comedian come on and tell some story about how they were discriminated against once or something. And those were always interesting. But them were the days. Thank you, Corey Suzuki. Do you think they could beat Skynet with that? With feminist AI? Well, one of the, if granted that I do a video on that, one of the things I want to bring up is, I don't think you want your artificial intelligence to have an ideology, because that's how you get Skynet. Or the Matrix or anything else like that.
Yeah, dude. If they set up a feminist AI, the inevitable end is going, like, the whatever the conclusion this thing ends up coming to is going to end in the result of the eradication of all men. Like, that is the only conclusion that she's going to be able to go to. Because after you put all those algorithms and shit in there, she's going to be like, okay, well, the only way to fix any of these problems is to just kill them all. Like, that's it.
Well, from her opening examples, I'm curious. I'm going to watch the whole thing tomorrow probably. But from her opening examples, I'm guessing that her first argument is going to be, if you say to Alexa, "Hey, slut," instead of saying something that's accommodating or not very assertive, she should say, "That's not appropriate." Or I don't know. If you sexually harass Alexa, is Alexa then going to call the police on you or something in Ireland? Or something, or in Scotland? I don't know. I don't know exactly what her argument is, other than this inanimate object that is a computer, that is a machine. She's projecting a gender onto it, which it does not have, and a sexuality, a vulnerable sexuality to it, which it does not have, and then making anybody who says something untoward to their property. I mean, if I have an Alexa, I own it. I can say or do to it whatever I want. I can just imagine what kind of reaction that lady would have if I said that within her earshot.
Kind of like real women, huh?
Yeah, exactly. That's how you treat real women. No, that's how I treat inanimate objects. Just like women. Oh, shut up. Anyway, let's see. Do we have any fucketry to talk about? Let me check my Twitter real quick. I don't know if I said anything really snarky today or not. Oh, I do want to point out, just to toot my own horn a little bit, Satsu inspired me today because he's trying to come up with some, he was doing some graphics work. I won't say anything else about it, but he's doing some graphics tests on some things. And it inspired me to make little movie poster type things for each of us on the show. I made one for me, of course. I made one for Satsu. And I made one that's maybe a bit cruel about Monkey. I won't deny. But I thought it was funny. And they're up on my Twitter if you'd like to see them. I like mine, of course, because it's the fanciest.
Of course.
Though I'll tell you, getting all that text the right size and the right style, and getting that picture in that frame correctly and everything, that was a bit of a trick, because I'm not exactly an expert Photoshop user, but I did my best. Other than that, so Roger Simon, a writer at Politico, so far as I can tell, he tweeted this out today. If it were possible, would you subtract one day of your life and add it to Ruth Bader Ginsburg's life for one extra day of good health? If just 10,000 people did this, it would add 27 productive years to her life. And I said no.
No.
That was my no.
I need that last day.
Yeah, it's my last day. She's lived for like how old is she? Like 80 something? She's an old lady. She's lived a long life. She's lived a lot longer life than some people, and she's done a lot with it. All credit to her for it. But I got my life to live. She's lived hers. Hell, people are going to remember her whenever she dies. When I kick off, nobody's going to remember me. It's just not going to happen. So I'll take every day I can. Thank you. But it was just a really weird question / statement, wish or whatever to see on Twitter today. Let's see, what was the other one? Oh, right. The New York Times tweeted this out. Lawyers for Mary Boone, the veteran art dealer who is now facing possible prison time for filing false tax returns, are asking that she be spared incarceration, saying her offenses were the product of trauma, not greed.
What?
The argument was that she had some kind of in her childhood or something, she had some kind of traumatic experiences or whatever, and therefore her committing tax fraud shouldn't be a prison-worthy crime. And I said, oh yes, of course, trauma. Financial gain via fraud was just a regrettable side effect. She took all of that untaxed money and gave it to charities then, correct? It had to have only been the act of filing the returns that was an outgrowth of trauma. Got it. Yeah. So anyway, that's all my internet fucketry for today. How about you, Satsu?
Well, the one thing that stood out today was there's a anime, I think it is, called Rising of the Shield Hero. And it's a show that kind of highlights the damage of false rape accusations. And naturally, SJWs are really upset that this exists because it perpetuates the notion that there is a such thing as a false rape accusation. And as the writer had said in the piece that I was looking at, accusations of this nature simply don't exist.
Oh, geez.
So they're saying that you were putting out negative things into the world, and perpetuating a thing that isn't actually real, and propping it up as something that needs to be discussed.
Right.
And the comment that I put here is people are upset that a show that highlights the struggle of being falsely accused of rape because apparently it's something that doesn't exist. Somebody should tell all those dudes whose lives are ruined that that it was something that wasn't real, so that way they can feel better.
Yeah, tell that to the Duke lacrosse players. Tell that to the UVA guys. Tell that to a Mattress Girls victim. Tell that to the guys that went to jail in Britain because that one lady accused them all of rape, etc., etc., etc. Come on.
Yeah, well, if it ain't convenient, it don't exist. That's the. I wish I could have that lifestyle, dude. Like, I really wish I could just live my life and be like, you know what? If it's inconvenient to me, then it's just not real. It doesn't exist.
Hey, you might get elected to Congress.
Because I swear to God, man, these people they could just erase things from reality, just because it doesn't fit the narrative. That was the one thing that really stood out. There was something else I saw. Oh yeah, that dude you talked about earlier who was bitching about him not being able to play a disabled person or some shit.
Oh, Bryan Cranston, yeah.
The Dominic Evans, it says, let me see here. Further, as a wheelchair user, I could never play Bryan Cranston, so why the hell can he play someone like me?
Oh my God.
That's the thing people don't understand. Disabled actors aren't allowed to play non-disabled characters, and in some cases, we can never play someone non-disabled. And Ricky was trolling him because, of course, Ricky was. But it just doesn't make any sense. I'm like, why on earth would a person who can't walk play somebody who can? Like, how is that even possible? Like, and somebody was like, well, maybe in a voice acting situation. I'm like, that makes even less sense. Like, if you're voice acting, it doesn't matter your physical state of being. You just need a voice.
Yeah.
That's not comparable at all.
I mean, I can't count how many times I found out that the voice actor behind this character either was of the opposite gender
Mm-hmm.
or of the opposite race of the character, or opposite race, a different race in the character, etc. It doesn't matter. It's a voice is a voice. Fine. All the quadriplegic people in the world, they have plenty of opportunities to be voice actors. There you go. It doesn't require any stunt work, or walking around, or anything else. If that's the argument. But unfortunately, most movies are not about disabled people, or at least not people who are unable to walk or to move through the world under their own steam. There are movies that aren't like that, but they're few and far between. And the movie that Bryan Cranston did, he wasn't lying. If they didn't have his and Kevin Hart's names attached to it, that movie would not have gotten financed. Nobody would have invested in that movie if they didn't think they were going to get a return on it. And having Cranston's name attached to it and Kevin Hart's name attached to it at least guarantees some kind of return on the film. Because movies are a business. They're not a charity. As much as I might want to think otherwise, it's not the case. So
these comments, man, if I can read just a few of them, are pretty hilarious. So one of them says, if you were good enough at acting, you would probably get the part. And so he said, I'm not an actor. I have a film degree and study film representation of disability. And dude said, that's cool. Well, now you get to produce your own films and cast whoever you want. And dude said, nailed it. And then this person says, I just cannot believe people complain about this. Our world is crazy. And he says, disabled mimicry causes actual harm to disabled people.
Disabled mimicry.
Disabled mimicry literally lowers the HP bar of disabled people. I can't even imagine how that's even possible.
Okay.
And he said, I can play Brian. I can't play Bryan Cranston. Therefore, he could never play me. He doesn't understand what it's like to be oppressed because he isn't disabled. It affects a lot of you.
He's playing a different character. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, this person isn't a quadriplegic either. By the way,
just to group myself in a demographic that I have nothing to do with. By the way, which isn't what Bryan Cranston is accused of doing at all.
I don't know, man. It's just fascinating how fucking stupid these people
are. Monkey, do you have any fuckatry?
I think Monkey's either passed out.
Monkey went bye-bye. Oh. Okay. Well. I hope wherever he is, he's warm. Yes, Satsu?
Did you have any more fuckatry?
No, but we can move on to. Well, let me check CNN real quick to see if we have any breakdown of what what was all said. Fact checking Trump's immigration speech. Okay, we got some fact checking. We talked about fact checking earlier. Washington Post on Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. So here we go. The Trump quote is, "All Americans are hurt by uncontrolled illegal immigration." We already talked about this. Yeah, the Cato Institute. Okay. Second quote, "The wall will also be paid for indirectly by the great new trade deal we have made with Mexico," unquote. Even if the new United States-Mexico-Canada agreement ends up raising tax revenue, there's nothing earmarking that money for a wall. Income and corporate taxes are general revenue that would have to be appropriated by Congress. Another way trade could bring money into the Treasury is through tariffs, which are paid by American importers when they buy foreign goods. But like the original North American Free Trade Agreement, the New Deal aims to keep trade between the three countries largely tariff-free. Yeah, and even if it did bring it in, the end of the day, it still comes back down to who holds the purse strings, and that's the House. So even if you got money through tariffs or anything else, you'd still have to get Congress to approve, unless you're going to do the whole emergency thing, which, hasn't been shown to be a good route yet. Trump says 1 in 3 women are sexually assaulted on the dangerous trek up through Mexico, unquote. Trump acknowledged the violence migrants face in transit to the U.S., saying, quote, I just said that. Indeed, the trek to the U.S.-Mexico border has been reported to be violent. According to data from Doctors Without Borders, 68.3% of migrants and refugees, quote, entering Mexico reported being victims of violence during their transit towards the United States, and nearly 1/3 of women said they'd been sexually abused. But this very violence is also why women have chosen to travel in caravans. Okay, so Trump was correct?
Yeah, but
they didn't say that, though.
Oh, of course not.
No, they just said, yeah, without actually saying he was correct. They just say, that's not a fact check. That's just, okay, anyway.
These illegal people who are trying to come over are usually subjected to sexual situations. And they're like, yeah, well, that's why they come over in larger illegal groups.
Trump said, quote, Senator Chuck Schumer has repeatedly supported a physical barrier in the past, unquote. This is correct, but context is key.
Oh, you guys give a fuck about context now?
Wait. This is correct. Well, which is it? Schumer previously supported legislation to build physical barriers on the U.S.-Mexico border. Most notably, Schumer and other Democrats supported the 2006 Secure Fence Act that authorized the construction of several hundred miles of fencing along the border, but not a wall. However, as long as the government remains shut down, Senate Minority Leader Schumer and House Speaker Nancy Pelosi have refused to offer any funding for a border barrier. So, wait. Context is key. Okay. If you're going to say this is a fact check, you have to say he was right or he was wrong. You said this is correct, but context is key. What context? That they said that they said fence other than wall, but that's not what Trump said. It said physical barrier. Whether Schumer was supporting a fence or a wall, Trump's not wrong when he said what he said.
Yeah, and not only that, he said, like they said, the point, the ending point was, yeah, but they haven't agreed to do it now that you want it. So It's like they're hypocrites. They're going against what they initially believed in because Trump wants it. That's essentially what you just said.
You okay, Monkey?
I will be.
Okay.
Sorry about that, guys.
That's okay. We're just CNN is quote unquote fact checking Trump. Trump said, quote, more Americans will die from drugs this year than were killed in the entire Vietnam War, unquote. Okay. Some 58,220 Americans died as a result of the Vietnam War. In 2017, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention said the numbers of total drug overdose deaths was 70,327. So Trump is probably right.
Yes.
Okay, but CNN goes on. However, okay, let's review. The statement was more Americans will die from drugs this year than were killed in the entire Vietnam War. Vietnam killed about, we'll round up, 59,000 Americans. Drugs killed 70,000 Americans in 2017. The 2018 numbers aren't in yet. However, the president's assertion is misleading.
What?
Okay, the president's assertion is misleading, conflating the drugs coming across the U.S.-Mexico border with total drug deaths in the U.S.
What?
That's not what that statement said.
They just made that up.
What the?
He was pointing out the problem. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay. In addition, it's not currently known whether overdose deaths will increase or decrease when the CDC releases 2018 data.
Oh, I'm sure it went down. I'm sure it went down. With nothing
I'm
done.
sure it dropped to the fucking floor.
It's only 3. It's only 3 for last year.
Trump's figures, he didn't give any figures. He just said there'd be more. If it's 1 or 100, he'd be correct. Trump's figures also do not distinguish between deaths caused by drugs smuggled into the country versus those prescribed by U.S. doctors. Well, okay, I don't know what he said around that statement. If he was trying to connect that to drugs coming across the border, but that's not what you quoted.
I think he was probably just trying to point, that we need to stop drug flow from south of the border, and pointed out that is a reality.
I mean, if he had said something like more Americans will die from illegal or smuggled drugs this year, if he'd said smuggled drugs, then you would have to go do a subset of how to figure out, who died by drugs brought in illegally, etc. That would make your little counterpoint here make more sense. But he didn't say that unless you're quoting him incorrectly. And if there's context to what he said that ties it directly to drugs coming across the border, why didn't you give that part of the quote? Okay, and lastly, Trump, quote, at the request of Democrats, it will be a steel barrier rather than a concrete wall, unquote. Okay. Democrats have long been strenuously opposed to Trump's campaign promise that he would build a concrete wall on the U.S.-Mexico border, but they did not propose a steel barrier as an alternative. Rather, Democrats have continued to oppose the construction of any new steel or concrete barrier on the southern border. They have only kept the door open to funding a border barrier as part of a broader immigration deal. So they wait, they do or they don't?
They do, but they don't, Scribe.
Oh my God. Okay, if Trump says something incorrect, by all means, say he said something incorrect or made a claim that was false. By all means. But this wishy-washy, we're going to say it's true, but it's correct. However, God damn it. That's so frustrating. I appreciate fact checkers. I really do. I don't like politicians getting completely a pass on just making crazy claims and having nobody push back. So in the case of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, hey, I'm glad that Anderson Cooper was there to say, wait a second, factual accuracy is important. I'm glad someone's there to do that from time to time. And I appreciate fact checkers who go to this effort to do this, but this is so ideologically biased. It's not fact checking. It's, does this square with our ideological imperative? The answer is no. Therefore, we got to throw some shit in there that's absolutely irrelevant to the actual point that was being made.
Yep. Because our readers don't care either way. As long as we say that he was wrong, it doesn't matter if he was technically right.
Okay. Anyway, pulling my hair out a little bit. We got 10 minutes until the bottom of the hour. Any deep topics or anything we'd like to discuss?
No, I've reached my capacity of stupid for today.
Okay, a monkey. Anything on your mind? Is there something that we might stoke the flames of your rage to warm your body, monkey?
Probably. First, you guys know his kitten?
Yes.
His kitten's Chihuahua died today, or last night. Sorry, was hit by a car. Yeah. So if you guys know her over on the Twitter, send her nice thoughts. Don't do mean stuff. I will destroy you.
Yeah, all condolences.
Yeah, it's hard losing animals, and she sent that out today, and like, oh, my heart. I'm not even a dog person. Like, my heart breaks for you.
I had a friend who had a little Chihuahua, and I went and visited them. And for whatever reason, even though I'm a cat person, this little Chihuahua took to me like fish to water and was just all over me and like curled up in my lap and just like, and tiny little dogs, they make like the wheezy noises. Mm-hmm. It was so cute little puppy. And I had never really seen up close a Chihuahua before. I kept petting it and saying, "Yo quiero Taco Bell. Yo quiero Taco Bell." It seemed to like it, whatever I was doing. So, yeah, I like what Chihuahuas.
Lindsay, I believe it is the same handle.
Yes, at least as far as, I don't know if the @ is the same, but the handle should be the same.
And I'm just going to bring up the tweet where she asked for happy things, and you guys can just send her happy things.
So I mentioned this the other night, and Monkey, I wanted to ask you, because you have some interest in this, at least in the past. So the Vampire the Masquerade bug, so to speak, has visited upon me again, and I'm still broad strokes thinking about, guys, I'm not making any promises. I'm thinking about maybe attempting to run a game in a live stream type format. Would you be at all interested in that?
Maybe. I want to say yes, but I don't know. Maybe.
Okay. Because I've been looking. Like I mentioned the other night, I occasionally have these different, very specific manias or passions that overtake me and my attention. So it could be serial killers, it could be cyberpunk, it could be fantasy, it could be vampires as a general thing. And right now, for whatever reason, I've caught the vampire bug again, and so I'm thinking about it. Not quite sure, thinking about it.
Ramen's asking you, what is Vampire Masquerade?
Okay, so Vampire the Masquerade is a tabletop role-playing setting game, essentially, that was first came out, I want to say, in the early 90s. I think 93 was. So what happened was way back when I was at the bookstore, as I was wont to do back then, and I came across this big, weird-looking green book that was called Vampire the Masquerade. And I thought at first it was a storybook or something, because I really didn't know much about role-playing games. The closest I'd ever gotten to any role-playing game stuff like you'd see in a tabletop was Cloak and Dagger with Dabney Coleman, Jack Flack. And they'd be rolling the dice and doing all that kind of stuff. But I opened up this book and I realized it was a game book, but I started actually reading the setting information. And the setting and the world and the lore that had been established for this game was so compelling to me. I bought the book, even though I was pretty sure I'd never play the game, because I just found the construction of it so interesting. There's this ridiculous, like, this is almost like a Star Wars expanded universe level of detail and branches to this lore behind this game. And I'd always liked horror stuff as a kid. I like vampires and things, but this made a whole extra level of complexity and political intrigue between different competing clans and different factions, and this whole, long history of manipulation of the mortal world, etc. So anyway, it's a role-playing game, to put it briefly, which I haven't. It's much more. It services different kinds of play. You can either play it sort of as a superhero action game after a fashion, but the setting lends itself much more to a cerebral, politicking, intrigue, slash horror kind of thing going on if you have the right temperament of players playing the game. So that's what that is. The 5th edition of this game just recently came out. Do not buy it. It is the company, or at least the people that produced that game, have since been taken over by social justice nonsense. So stay away from the 5th edition. If you want the best overall rule book for that game, you want the 20th anniversary edition, which was done as basically a love letter to the original publications of this game, and kind of consolidates all the best stuff as far as rules and setting and everything from the previous product line into one big book for the most part. And that's the one I would recommend. But anyway, there's a lot more to it than that. But I used to run games like this in college. I ran a Star Wars game that lasted 3 months and had me with like 9 players, which was crazy. But anyway, I always liked Vampire. And so I've been thinking about maybe, because I've never tried to run a tabletop game on live stream before. It's hard enough at the age that I'm at and the people that it would be peers to me to arrange people to have schedules that would work to do a regular game night or something. But on the off chance that I decide to do this, and I found some people who either knew about or were interested in that kind of game, I might attempt it. So that's the long-winded version of all that, as I fill up time before we get to the end of the bottom of the hour, which is almost 2 minutes away. Any other questions, guys?
No.
Yeah. So we'll just move on to question time for you guys now. Why the heck not? So guys, it's your time. You have questions, comments, complaints, conspiracy theories. If you have Morse code you'd like to throw at me that I won't read, because I won't. I don't speak to me in English, or something that I can understand, like goat thrapple. Put in the chat now. If you have questions for us directly, please put plenty of chat marks after that. And if you have statements that you just like us to sort of entertain, put statement marks after those. So there you go. Let's see. James Colley says, I'd love to see if Scribe could do a Dev Knoll impersonation. Oh, God. That was one of the more memorable characters from Redemption. But that kind of Malkavian is really... Malkavians in the original iteration of the game were almost unplayable because they were just cartoon characters. They've been made more nuanced over time to a degree, but yeah, Malkavians are a tough clan to play without falling into Looney Tunes. Quinn the Angry says, screw Zemitzi, Tremere for life. Well, the Tremere are just Zemitzi. If you know your lore. Sorry to tell you that. Tosa Network says, Scribe Light, why are you for single payer healthcare? Isn't the government screw up everything they try? I'm not for single payer healthcare per se. What I've said consistently, if I need to say it again, somehow, some way, I would just like it to be the case that someone does not risk going bankrupt over becoming sick. That's sort of like the red line thing that I would like to go away. There are people in my personal life and extended family who have lost everything because of an accident, through no fault of their own, through an illness that they had no control over, because of medical bills and everything else. And I think that's ridiculous. I mean, if you do something to yourself and you end up going into hock, that's one thing. But if you're just minding your own business and suddenly you're struck down by something, you shouldn't, your entire world should not fall apart in addition to that. Now, I don't know what the most effective answer to that problem is. Is it single payer healthcare? I don't know. I'm not a healthcare expert. I couldn't tell you. But whatever could be done to prevent that from happening to people as much as possible, that is what I want to have happen. That's my answer to that. So, let's see. Motto Winter says, Scribe, if the company that owns Dr. Pepper were to send you a 36-pack of Dr. Pepper a month, would you shill for them? If yes, how hard? I already shill for them. I already do. If they sent me a 36-pack of Dr. Pepper a month, I wouldn't drink it all because I don't want to have diabetes. I'd probably give most of it away to charity or something. But I already shill Dr. Pepper all the time. I love Dr. Pepper.
Hashtag Scribe is mean to the unfortunate.
Now, if they sent me 36 cans a month or something, well, I would make it a point to mention Dr. Pepper every show rather than just sort of like here and there as I do. But other than that, yeah. Let's see. Angry Illinoisian says, what was your favorite clan in Vampire? I like the Giovanni and the La Sombra. I thought the Giovanni were probably some of the perfect, had the perfect setup for being vampires because not only did they have the whole vampire thing going, but they had the whole intricate power structure of their mafia family thing going on. And there's just so much storytelling you can do just with the Giovanni alone without having to bring in any other vampires. It's kind of like the Tremere because they have sort of an insular organization. But I think the Giovanni are just cooler and much more evil than a lot of the other clans, at least as far as they're constructed. What's this? RJ Banzo says, Scribe Light, what's the funniest thing you've done on the job? The funniest thing? My job doesn't really have funny stuff happen. Well, I mean, my previous job, when I was in collections, the funniest thing that happened, I think I've told this story before. Part of my job was I had to pull up, I was given a list of account numbers every day that I had to look up and call and try to collect on. And I pulled up this account one day. And what happens is you put in the account number, the little profile of the person comes up on the screen, then you have to call the number. So I put in this account number, profile comes up, and her last name was something like Wong, I think, something like that. But her first name was spelled B-I-C-H. And I stopped. And there was no notes on there on how to pronounce it. And I was like, so I poked my neighbor in my pot or whatever, and I said, how would you say this? And he's squinting at it. He's like, B? I don't know. I'm like, oh, God, okay. And so I dial the number, and this sweet little old lady type voice picks up and says, hello? And I go, hi, is this B? And she says, yes, this is bitch. And since I was calling in collections, I said, hi, bitch, where's my money? And she laughed her ass off. And my coworker, who only heard one side of the conversation, looked at me with these eyes like, "Oh my God, you're going to be fired." But she was laughing, and I explained, and well, actually, I announced who I was before I said that anyway. But yeah, it was hilarious. That was the funniest thing I ever did on the job, probably. Let's see. Gen T Maxi says, but why hasn't Dr. Pepper started making a pepper jack pre-mixed drink yet? You should get them to promote that, Scribe. I don't know, pre-mixed, because everybody has different tolerances for how much jack they want versus pepper. Do you want your jack to be completely overwhelmed by the pepper, or vice versa? I saw somebody sent me a picture. I forget who it was. I apologize. The other day of a bottle of Jack and a bottle of Coke combo package that they put together. So I think that if they haven't already, they should do something like that, where you sell a bottle of Jack and a bottle of Dr. Pepper together as a single package. That'd be good. Other than that, yeah, I think everybody should have control over their own pepper jack intake. That's what I'm for. I might not be for single payer healthcare, but I'm for that. Let's see. Jay Reynolds says, Scribe, are you only looking for players in your inner circle, or are you willing to pull from people in chat if they have a history of Vampire the Masquerade? I'd first be talking to people that I have already some relationship with that are interested in such things. It's not a very large group right now, so at some point I might put a call out. I don't know. Again, this is all very nascent. I'm not making any promises. I've just got the impulse to do something about this, my mania at present, and that's one way to sort of have an outlet. So we'll see. Let's see. Citron says, what is your opinion of the Tzimisce, aka the best clan? I think the Tzimisce have a really, really cool backstory and culture to their clan. Also, they're the most potentially twisted, since they can do flesh crafting and all that kind of stuff. I think they're one of the hardest to play, though, especially if you're on the path of metamorphosis, because you really have to try to play up the alien mindset, and not many role players can. I've seen very few that can get it across convincingly, and not just be, oh, look at me, I'm going to do something horrible, like give myself 3 eyes on my palm or something. There's a bit of nuance there, a bit of class that you have to kind of put in, I guess, depending on how old your character is. But yeah, and I'm sure I'm speaking Greek to Satsu right now.
You're always speaking Greek to me.
Yeah, I know. Let's see. RJ says, Scribe, who's your favorite Futurama character? Probably Bender. What do you guys think?
I like Bender and Fry equally.
I don't watch it enough to know their names.
Oh, okay. Bender's the robot. He's hilarious. And he's also voiced by the guy who played Smiling Jack in Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines.
I do like the professor, too.
He's like, good news, everyone!
Good news, everyone.
Let's see. Serenity Lono says, for Satsu, Leon or Claire first?
Just because of habit, I'm gonna have to play Leon first, because Claire was always it was always story B, and all the in all the renditions of Resident Evil 2. So it's just like instinct to play Leon first. But yeah. So what I'm probably gonna do is I'm gonna play through Leon's story on easy, and then when I go to Claire, I'm gonna ramp it up a bit just so I can get used to it.
Devil Fruit Zero says, Monkey, how many times should I try to regain my dropped loot before I give up? I'm assuming on 7 Days to Die.
It depends on what loot you have.
Yeah, I mean, is it that important? Because most of the time, if it ain't that important.
Unless you have a really, really good gun, or there's something in there you desperately need, I wouldn't try it more than once or twice. Most of the time, I don't even, unless it's really close, like, fuck it, I don't need it anymore.
Cynical Lindsay says, Scribbles, are you planning another true crime stream anytime soon? I'm not planning on it. That was kind of an impulse thing when I did it. It would have to be something that I'm relatively knowledgeable about, or at least have a lot of enthusiasm to discuss. I have an idea of what I might do if I was going to do one next, but I need to refresh myself on some things before I could speak about it intelligently. So, again, maybe. Sorry for all the teases, guys, but these are all sort of, ephemeral things in my mind at present. Average apathetic American says, "When is the next movie you should have watched or seen?" As he says, yeah, I don't know. When Monkey and I find something to watch and find the gusto to do it. I've got my copy of Cloak and Dagger around here somewhere with Dabney Coleman. I just have to find it. Actually, but what I'm more looking forward to is at some point having a little discussion stream with Monkey when he gets a chance to watch The Shield or some of it and see what he thinks. Let's see. Scribe, have you read the Harry Dresden books? Says Daniel Fullman. I have not. I saw the show, The Dresden Files, a few episodes. I didn't watch it religiously or anything on that chance. Urban magic stuff. Not exactly my forte. So, but the actor who plays Harry Dresden when he moved over to Arrow, I love the actor. He's a great actor, but I didn't watch the show all that much. Haven't read any of the books. Serenity Lotus says, "Any fans of Game of Thrones? If so, what are your thoughts on the final 6 episodes being 80-plus minutes long each?" I've never watched a single episode of Game of Thrones, so I'm not a fan. How about you guys?
I like the show, and it depends on how they're done. There have been several episodes. It's like, I wish that still went on, and there were others was like that should have ended sooner. So,
yeah, never seen it.
Yeah, the show The Last Kingdom. I cannot promote this show enough on Netflix. The Last Kingdom. Somehow, the episodes are only an hour long each or thereabouts. But I tell you what, each episode is so packed, and not overwhelmingly so, but so packed with events and character development and story that each one feels like a full-length movie. I've been amazed before just how lost I became in the world and the characters and the situations. And I thought, this is only an hour? Because it felt like it was a lot longer, but at the same time, it didn't feel like I was wasting my time. That show is really good. And thankfully, they got renewed for a 4th season. So if you have a chance, there's 3 seasons available. It's only 10 episodes or thereabouts per season over on Netflix. It's great. I really like it. Let's see. Serenity Lotus says, "I love The Last Kingdom." Yep, really good. Let's see. RJ says, "Scribe Light, mind I gave you my autograph? I want to because I like you a lot and respect you for being so smart." You want to tweet me a picture of your autograph? I don't know. Sure.
Were they asking?
I promise I won't use it to make any false checks or anything. Let's see. Frosted Glass says, "Scribe, what do you consider the most mysterious unsolved crime?" The most mysterious unsolved crime. Gosh. Well, the first thing that comes to mind is very cliche, but what happened to Jimmy Hoffa?
mm-hmm.
That's one of those things that nobody really knows. Other than that, gosh, there are so many murder mysteries and things. There was God, what was it? There was this reporter. She had a really weird last name, and this was back in like the 90s, I think. And her last name was like, I know this is not her last name, but it was something like Vanderhoosen or something. And she was like a little local news reporter somewhere in the Midwest, I think it was, maybe Minnesota or something. And she just up and vanished one morning, just like poof, and no trace of her was ever found, like just gone. And she was a public personality and everything else, was gone and never found her. Don't know. That one always kind of intrigued me because like someone just vanishing without a trace at all is always, that's why that show Disappeared or Vanished or whatever it was called, where they do stories about people who just, disappeared off the face of the earth. It's always interesting to find out if they ever solved it, what the circumstances were that led up to that person just not being able to be found. Devil Fruit Zero says, "Satsu, do you nearly have a heart attack at Resident Evil 2 during the two-way mirror event in the police station?"
Oh, the first time that ever happened to me, it scared the shit out of me. Because I don't know if you guys are familiar with Resident Evil all that much, but the lickers, those things, they'll fucking red things that crawl around with the long tongues. Did you see the
No.
movie, right?
Oh, long time ago.
Okay. Well, yeah, like there's a scene where you go into the interrogation room and you got to grab this thing that's on the other side of the room, and the room is just screaming like, yeah, once you pass this barrier, something's gonna happen, and you know it is, but you don't know what. And one of those fucking things just breaks through the glass. You're like, oh my god. So yeah, that freaked me the fuck out the first time it happened.
Tartness asks, has anyone here ever heard of or seen Special Unit 2? I've been trying to find it and can't anywhere. I have no idea what that is. Is that a TV show or a game or something?
No idea.
Let's see. Raymond Lewis says Titan's first season is apparently going to be uploaded onto Netflix. Really? That kind of defeats the whole purpose of Warner having their own streaming service. I won't watch it because I've already watched Weibo Jones's review and hers was perfect. If you watch her sort of sum up review of like the series that she put out like a week ago, 2 weeks ago now, I was very impressed with her analysis. So go watch that. And that basically told me everything I needed to know. Serenity says, have you seen the movie Outlaw King on Netflix? If so, thoughts? I have not. I know it's got Chris Pine in it. And I think it's an Irish king or something like that. I may watch it at some point, but it wasn't on my list immediately. What else? Data Wasteland says, hello, boys. Hey, Data. Let's see. I don't see any questions that I've missed. Oh, there we go. Harvest Marvelous Scribe Light, best sitcom dad other than the obvious of Al Bundy, and Nightly Riddle, I fly without wings, I cry without eyes, what am I? I fly without wings, I cry without eyes. Cloud.
Yeah.
Best sitcom dad. Best sitcom dad. I don't know. Oh, it was probably Paul Reiser and My Two Dads. Or, Willie Tanner from Alf. I don't know. I don't know sitcom dads that much.
Oh shit! You know what I forgot to mention?
What's that?
That new logo design that I was working on, I finalized it and I have it. It's limited on merch.
Oh.
And there's only 5 of each.
Oh.
Because I'm testing something out here.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna put the link to the merch store on there and check it out, and you guys let me know what you think or whatever. There's only 5 of each. There's a mug, a shirt, and then they just added a pillow, and I wanted to see how it looked. I think I'm gonna get one of them to put in my background when I finally get my little setup together or whatever. But let me know what you guys think of them. Even if you're not gonna buy one, I'm curious about the criticism of the design. So let me know.
Harvest Marvel says Scribe Like Cloud is correct. Yay! Because I can occasionally be smart. Let's see. Frosted Glass says Outlaw King just seemed like a discount Braveheart to me. Nothing special. Ooh. Let's see. Chris Mason says Special Unit 2. Yeah, I've seen it. It's a Warehouse 13 X-Files type show with more humor. Yeah, X-Files, of course, is X-Files. Warehouse 13, I've only seen like an episode or 2 of that. As soon as I heard about the concept, I was like, so this is Friday the 13th, the series, the remake? I hear it is much better than Friday the 13th, the series. But I did find out there was this one episode, Friday the 13th, the series, the only one that I remember with any clarity. It's all on YouTube. The episode in full is on YouTube. And I remembered why I liked it so much, because it was directed by David Cronenberg. And it is really, really creepy. It's called Faith Healer. I won't say too much else about it. It stuck in my brain all these years since I was a kid because of the concept in it and the gimmick for that particular episode. Although watching it again the other day, I was reminded just how cheap the production values were back then. But, you can only do with what you got, I suppose. Data Wasteland says, Brian Keith and Family Affair. Oh, God. Yeah, that was a TV show, and he was a TV dad. That's true. Chicago Mike, favorite airplane quote. Oh. Probably anything Peter Graves said to that kid.
Oh, those were great. My favorite is I picked the wrong week to stop sniffing glue.
Yeah, that's right. And his hair's all sticking.
Yes.
That's great. Angela Arriaga says, I love Friday the 13th, the series. Yeah, it's a very odd thing. I just looked that up the other day when I remembered that episode. And the only reason they named it Friday the 13th, the series, even though it has absolutely no connection to Jason Voorhees or anything, is because a whole slew of people involved in making that show also made the movies Friday the 13th, some of the movies in there. So they were going to call it something else beforehand, but whatever reason they settled on that. And it would have been one thing if they just called it that, but the logo for the show is the same logo for a couple of the movies. I don't know exactly what they were thinking. It makes it memorable to a degree, but also makes it very confusing. RJ Bansma says, Scribe Light, favorite Alf quote. I eat cat, I guess. I don't know. Alf had a catchphrase, didn't he?
Oh.
He had one. I don't remember what it is off the top of my head. It was like one word or two words. Yeah, he had some kind of catchphrase. Let's see. Cynical Lindsay says, have you ever been to a Turkish prison? No. I did watch Midnight Run one time, which was enough for me to say I never want to go to Turkey.
Isn't that a quote from Airplane?
Oh, is it?
It's one of the things Peter Graves asks.
Oh, was it? Oh, okay. I saw question marks after. I thought it was a question for us.
Oh.
I
know my Airplane.
Okay, you know better than I do. Let's see. Duck Dog says Erie, Indiana was a good supernatural show. I never did see that show. I always heard it was good, but I never got a chance to see it. I know the kid from, I think, wasn't the kid from Picket Fences in that show who played the curly-haired son?
Oh, God, I never saw it.
Yeah, Picket Fences. I like Picket Fences. That was a great show.
Picket Fences was great.
Yeah, especially Ray, what's his name? Ray Walston, I think it was, who played the judge. Mm-hmm. And the guy who played the lawyer, Douglas Wamba for the defense, Your Honor.
Wamba, yeah.
Douglas Wamba. Yeah, Douglas Wamba was great. Also, Lori, what's her name? The redhead. Dang it. Suddenly forgetting her name. She was Jim Carrey's girlfriend for a while after they did Dumb and Dumber. There's this one part where one of the sons is having a dream and she walks in the room wearing nothing but a bra and panties and holding like a video game or whatever. And it's so hot. But it probably wouldn't pass muster today if they put that on TV because the kid is like a minor, super minor, and she was a grown woman. Let's see. Frosted Glass, best fictional weapon. Best fictional weapon. Well, my reflex is to say Excalibur. But I don't know. Best fictional weapon. I don't know. That's the first thing that comes to mind.
Lightsaber.
Lightsaber's good. Yeah. Always a sword or something.
Photon torpedo.
Maybe a Hellboy's gun. That's a pretty cool gun. Let's see. Scribe Light from Captain Brambles. My favorite airplane line was the little kid who said, I take it black like my men.
Oh, yeah, the little girl.
The little girl. That was hilarious. Kara Zering says, can you tell me a story about a pet you had/have? Well, I've told this one before. So when my parents brought me home from the hospital after I was born, they put me on the couch and I was a wiggling little baby. And the two cats they had at the time, one was a black cat, one was a Siamese. They noticed that there was something new in the house. So they both got up from their little nap or whatever and walked over to the couch and they put their little paws on the edge of the couch and looked over at apparently me on the bed or the couch wiggling around. And they both jumped up, circled around me in unison, and then flopped down yin yang style, cuddling me. And there's a picture of this, of them wrapped around me as I'm just newly born. And it's so cute. And I grew up with them and they were basically my brothers for the first part of my life. How about you guys? Any good pet stories?
Mostly, it's just thoughts about my last cat, my Patches. Um, he was the most docile, lovable kitty you'd ever meet, and he would let me cuddle him like a little teddy bear when I slept. And if he wasn't getting attention, he would walk up to you and pat you with his paw. And if you didn't pay attention, he'd pat you again. And he would get more insistent up to the point where he'd be like patting your face. If you just kept ignoring him, he was adorable. I miss my Patches.
And most of my pet stories aren't good ones, because the first cat that we had vanished from existence one day. It was there and then it was gone. And then the next cat that we had was this snooty little bitch who would trot around the house like she was the shit, and you couldn't rub her. She would rub her body against you. And late at night, when she was down in the basement and everybody was asleep, she used to say my name like repeatedly, and nobody could figure out where the fuck she was. I think she was like in the walls down there in the basement or some shit. And she would meow in such a way where it sounded like she was saying my first name repeatedly, and it terrified me. And then we got a kitten to go with that cat, and those two were fucking crooks. And they would they would do heists together to steal food, because the big cat employed the little cat to steal food for it, and they would plan this shit out. My mom had a fish tank, and she had an Oscar in there, and didn't realize that Oscars eat fucking everything. So every new fish she bought and put in there, she's like, I don't know where they're going. Yeah, because the Oscar fucking ate everything in there. It tried to eat the algae eater. The algae eater was like, nah, bitch, bag up. Yeah, none of my pet stories are really that great.
Story Low says Friday the 13th or Freddy's Nightmares for the better TV series. Better? Well, Friday the 13th, the series at least had a running arc in an episodic format. Freddy's Nightmares were just all over the place. But if you find the little documentary about the making of Freddy's Nightmares, I think it goes along with some of the movie makings too. They got away with so much crazy shit that the censors weren't paying attention, apparently, because they were on so late. Freddy's Nightmares might be the more entertaining show just for how insane it got. But as far as like actual quality, probably Friday the 13th. What else? Let's see. Frosted Glass says, who'd win, Galactic Empire or the forces of Sauron? Well, the Galactic Empire has starships and turbo lasers, so the Galactic Empire. I think that's pretty. I mean, it depends on what era we're talking about the Galactic Empire. Did they have the Death Star? Well, then Mordor's done. I'm gonna tell you. That's my
All
answer.
they need is Godzilla.
Yeah. Now, if you had to put Saruman versus Emperor Palpatine, that would be an interesting matchup. But otherwise, I'm not quite sure that the forces of Saruman being stuck to the ground and air for the most part against the technological might of the Galactic Empire probably wouldn't last. Shiogorath says, worst sexual role play you've done / heard of. Worst sexual role play.
Furries?
Yeah.
No, those people who wear fucking adult diapers.
Oh yeah, baby play. Yeah, that's definitely not. Ugh. Yeah.
The ones who actually shit themselves and stuff. That's just wrong.
Oh God, yeah.
There's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
Stop it. Get help.
Forrest Mueller says, Scribe, what is your favorite TV show? Monkey. Do you know the answer to that question?
It's
Sorry.
It's Sons of Anarchy.
The Shield.
Okay, Satsu had it right. You know, Sons of Anarchy is in the same universe as The Shield, yes?
Yes, I know.
Okay.
That's why I pulled it instead of saying The Shield.
But Sons of Anarchy isn't anywhere nearly as good as The Shield.
I wanted something related to where you'd be like, you know better than that, motherfucker.
I know. You're just trying to get my dander up is what you're doing.
Pushing your buttons.
Harvo says, any of you ever see Stargate, both the movie and the series? I've seen the movie. I've seen some episodes of the series, but I didn't watch the series all that much. You guys see either one?
I have not seen either one.
The movie it's interesting. Like the first half hour or so is really interesting. And then it kind of, It kind of takes into a direction. The special effects in some places are a little off. It has a really interesting premise. That's why I think that the TV show is so much more popular than the movie, because they were able to expand on the lore and universe, obviously, of it far more in detail. Because the idea of it is more interesting than the execution as far as the movie. I think it's memorable to a certain extent, but it's not. It's not. I just remember one of the reviews says like the new Star Wars, and I'm like, no, it's not. that's a big claim, and you don't quite make it. Let's see. Oh, we're almost out of time. Time flies, guys, when we're having fun and talking about stuff. Raymond Lewis says they're remaking Stargate. I wouldn't be surprised. They'll remake anything. But that being said, guys, thank you guys so much for joining us every night, as you always do. Oh wait, Diesel Dave says, have you ever heard of the YouTube channel Criminally Listed? I have. That guy's voice is an acquired taste, but the episodes he puts together are pretty interesting. Even if he does put in ads occasionally, they're kind of annoying. Anyway, remember, guys, shortly after this, over on 2 Cents Plus, Monkey and Satsu will be breaking routine for a night and going and playing 7 Days to Die. Are you giving any games tonight?
No, not tonight. We did 3 this weekend, but
okay. And remember, guys, tomorrow night, per usual, will be on Monkey's channel at their regular time. Other than that, I think that's everything. So, everyone, thank you for joining us. Monkey, Satsu, thank you for joining. Oh,
and thank you everybody who's gone over to his kitten and said something nice or sent something nice.
Yeah.
You guys are amazing.
Oh, and I'm sorry, guys, and my mind's so muddled right now. Thanks to all the moderators for keeping an eye on things. Even though our audience is the most well-behaved audience in the world. Thank you to everyone who donated, both now and the previous show I was hosting. And all that. Your guys' generosity never ceases to just humble me beyond words. I don't know what to tell you. And but all that being said, guys, your lives make us sad, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Bye, guys.
Let's see. I got to try to outdo a secret word like pus, because that was disgusting.
Did anybody even?
Yeah, Mash.
It was mentioned at the very beginning. Yeah.
Yeah, Mash said it right when she came in. So I'm going to find something classier randomly in my book here, and I don't know if I've done that one before. I can't remember. I'm sure somebody will tell me if I have, because we've got some Lords of the Night experts out there. Today's secret word is reaction.